Welcome to Trade Association Insights on Market Research with Dr. David Rehr and Dan Varroney, the President and CEO of Potomac Core Association Consulting.
Today, we welcome back Daniel Varroney, founder and CEO of Potomac Core, a strategic consulting firm that specializes in association transformation and industry-focused strategic partnerships. And you also may know Dan because of his groundbreaking book, Reimagining Industry Growth. Dan, it's great to have you back. I, of course, am, as you know, David Rehr from George Mason University. So it's great to have you back, Dan. Let's today focus on the topic of market research, why it's important. Why it's essential for a successful trade association. So why don't you give us your thoughts on that and how you view market research?
Well, David, pleasure to be back with you. Market research absolutely matters today. So as we look at the challenges that industries and association members, trade association members are facing, it's imperative for every trade association to understand how aligned or how connected they are with the industry's wake at night challenges and the business outcomes that they want to achieve. So when we talk about market research, we're talking about actionable information, actionable data that will give a board, an executive committee, or members of a task force a sense of where the industry is today, what their wake at night challenges are, and what the outcomes are that they want to achieve. And then similarly, and actually most important, a sense of alignment. So if you're looking to understand how aligned you are, you build a market research product that asks the following question. Based on your industry challenges and based on the outcomes that the industry needs to achieve, how aligned do you see your trade association with those needs and outcomes? That would be one example of an alignment question. The other would be more specific to the company. So based on the challenges and outcomes that your company needs to achieve, how aligned is the trade association with your company? So when you ask those types of questions, you're moving away from the satisfaction environment into more of a business conversation to help you and the industry understand how connected, how aligned you are with them and what they need to achieve.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Dan. I know you guys conduct a lot of surveys, and I conduct some surveys and take surveys, but I see the trend in associations are asking, like, how well do you like me? You know, do you like me 1 or do you like me 5? And of course, everybody's ego is staked with, I want to get all 5s because we're very competitive people. But I don't really think it tells you very much. I mean, how do you look at these, like, how well am I like surveys, and as opposed to, am I getting the results from my members? And how would you describe that a little bit more?
So we want our clients, our trade association clients, to be looking, thinking, acting, and feeling the way the industry does. That's our outside-in approach. In order to do that, you can't focus on how the member or the industry feels about you. What you're focused on is more of a sense of customer centricity. Where are they right now? What challenges are they experiencing today? What challenges will they experience 3 years or 5 years or even 10 years from now? And then what outcomes are they seeking? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how satisfied a member is with you, because if they're looking to make a business decision about whether or not they're going to renew their membership, it's not about whether they like you or not. The decision is going to be about how aligned they see you with the challenges and outcomes, the business outcomes that the industry and the company needs to achieve. It's a benchmark, a baseline by which the trade associations can increase their level of success, they can improve their level of engagement, and ultimately, they'll find more members are staying. Their retention levels are going to increase as well. The value imperative is new, it's different, and it's about the industry. What our research does is help every trade association client understand where that industry is and what they need to do to better align with their challenges and their outcomes.
Dan, I think you make a good point, Dan. I know early in my career, there was a lot more money available by businesses to join associations. The association world was fun and enjoyable, and it was kind of peer interaction. But because of government, because of competition, because of the global economy, there's less money, marginal money available to spend. So you always wanted to make investments which returned your company or your group something. Um, and I think this value and what you want and are you getting is really important, for, as you say, for people to stay. Having said that, we've gone from a time, maybe I'm just venting here, but we've gone from a time of, having fun parties at fun places to let's just sit down and tell me how I can make my business better so I can make more money so I can keep my employees at work. What do you think of that?
So I think that's right. The cost of doing business is sky high nowadays. Whether you're a small, a medium, or a large company, they are looking for solutions. They're looking for solutions. And that solutions come from better alignment. If they're going to spend their time and their money, they want to know that there is accretive value, that they're going to be able to go back to their companies. Now, whether they're private or they're public, there needs to be an understanding that there is value delivered. The value imperative is as follows. This trade association is our partner. They're essential. We cannot go forward without them. That's the case when your alignment scores from an industry perspective or a company perspective are exceedingly high. You don't know that when your satisfaction scores are high. So again, you're looking for alignment. Company executives don't have a lot of time to travel. They don't have a lot of excess dollars in the budget. They want to know that if they're going to engage in something, that there is going to be direct and immediate value to the business. For public companies, they want to be able to see or say, go back to their CEOs or their boards and say, look, they're delivering accretive value that we can see in our next quarter's earnings. It's that type of conversation that must be had with the board and ultimately with the members. They need to see that. That must be visible and verifiable.
Yeah. And that would lead me to Dan. Sometimes you'll hear news as an association executive you don't like. You're not providing some value. You're not doing what the members want you to do. But at the same time, it allows you to adjust. And I always worry about, at least generally in my life, hopefully it's been successful so far, but generally in my life, it's when I don't know that I'm off that I get myself into trouble. But if I get some bad news or less news than I desirable, then I can make the tactical adjustment to get back where the members are and continue to hold up the association and get the revenue in.
David, the bottom line is the bottom line. First and foremost, all bad news is good news. You want to know where the industry is and what you need to do to course correct. But ultimately, what we look to do through our market research and the work that we do with trade association clients is as follows: creating a better understanding of what it looks like from around the member's side of the desk. So with our market research, every CEO, senior manager, and staff member has the ability to go around the member's side of the desk and see things as they do when they walk into the office in the morning and turn on the lights. That's the distinction and the difference. That's what we're able to do.
Yeah. And I know, Dan, you do quantitative research through your studies. I've seen them before, but you also engage in qualitative things, because sometimes the qualitative studies gives you an inkling of something, which then turns out to be very important for the industry.
So we actually do qualitative and quantitative research. Some trade associations prefer to stick with the qualitative research. That is just as actionable. We structure 60-minute interview conversations around those industry challenges and outcomes that the companies and the industry needs to achieve. We're able to deliver actionable and directional research that absolutely helps the trade association and the industry become more aligned. For those that want to do quantitative research, we'll combine the qualitative and the quantitative research to help the research become even more actionable, even more verifiable.
Well, that's excellent, Dan. So how often do you suggest people do research? Are they like, how often should you touch the members to kind of get their input on what's going on? And are you really doing what they want you to do?
Interestingly enough, in my book, Reimagining Growth, one of the things I wrote about early in the book was this sense of scenario planning as being even more important than strategic planning. I believe research is more important on a more regular basis than before. So if you're thinking, I only need to do this type of research every 3 to 5 years when we update our strategic plan, you could be missing significant opportunities because change is happening fast, and we know about that change even faster than we ever have before. You need more research more often to make sure that you're aligned, you're adapting and adjusting to where the industry is. That will help reinforce and cement any trade association's position with their industry and the industry they serve.
Yeah. And I would expect that once you get behind, you stay behind. You always have to be, I always like to think of, you always have to stay on offense in this ever-changing world. You could be on the top of your game, but if you don't constantly stay at the top of your game, then you get behind, then you're like, the last person standing at the end, and everyone's gone way beyond you.
David, when I have conversations with trade association CEOs, the question I hear most often is, Dan, what should I or we know? And my answer always is, you have to know what you don't know. That's where market research comes in. You have to know what you don't know. The more frequently you can research qualitatively and or quantitatively, you are going to understand and you're going to learn the things that you don't know that you need to know.
I think that's great, Dan. Let me just we're drawing this close for our time limitation because we want to keep this kind of short and we want to keep this short for people because we know they're busy as well. But so we talked about research, we talked about the integration. Where does the CEO and the staff work in through kind of the question process? They don't want to say like, how good is David Rehr? Well, we hate him, so he's bad. They want to protect their futures and their own reputations. How do you guys interact with the staff and with the members, not the members of the association, but the members on the staff of the organizations?
So another right question at the right time. It comes down to this. It's all about collaboration, partnerships, and relationships. We work collaboratively with boards, with task forces of industries, and with the staff. Because we do a lot of surveys, we've got the ability to go in with templates that are based on what we know about the industry from qualitative interviews. And we give the staff the opportunity to shape the survey from where they think the industry is. In addition, we give industry leaders the opportunity to put their imprimatur on what the survey should be or what it should say. So again, it's an all-in collaborative, fully integrated process.
Well, that's excellent, Dan. As always, thanks very much for your time. I'm sure this is going to be helpful for many association CEOs and staff around the country, if not around the world. Have a great day.
Thanks, David. Likewise.
Thank you for listening to Trade Association Insights on Market Research with Dr. David Rehr and Dan Varroney, the President and CEO of Potomac Core Association Consulting. For more information, please contact team@potomaccore.com.